and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea in Kuwait, all the evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Behold, I'm against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth, and I'll stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and I will make thee a burnt mountain. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for a foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. It's going to be radioactive, it sounds like to me. Set up a standard in the land. Blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. And I got to tell you something here. Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz are all located in what today is present-day Kurdistan. Where all the Kurds are, that's where Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz are. So it says, and I can see this happening. It hasn't happened yet. Or maybe it is, I don't know. But those people would like to topple Saddam if we let them. It says, set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz, all located in what's now Kurdistan. Appoint a captain against her. And I feel that captain who's against her right now is called Frank Ricciardoni, who's trying to keep the Kurds from fighting each other, unite them so they eventually can work with them and topple Saddam. I feel that captain right now, as I read this to you, could change, but right now that appointed captain is Frank Ricciardoni, or I don't know how you pronounce his name. Okay, cause the horses come up as the rough caterpillars. I think it could be horses, because there's going to be, I'm pretty sure we're going to declare no drive zone over all of Iraq. So, with no fly, using the air cover. Because the Kurds don't want to get hit by us, because that happened. The reason why we lost so many people during the Gulf War, we didn't, but the ones we did, it was because of friendly fire. So, they've learned, I think. Prepare against her the nations, because we're afraid to get down there and check it out, because we're afraid we'll get hit. That's why we're bombing from such a high altitude over Kosovo. Okay. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes. The Medes, I feel nowadays, are Kurds. The captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. In other words, there'll be Barzani Kurds, and there'll be Talibani Kurds getting involved here. In other words, Iran will help them here. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. Now I feel that this happened during the Gulf War, and it will probably happen in the future here. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They don't want to fight. They have remained in their holds, and they did during the Gulf War. Their might hath failed, and it did during the Gulf War. It'll probably happen again here, because they'll know they're going to. There's aircraft. They can't have no chance, so they have to quit here. They became as women, and they did during the Gulf War. Saddam said they looked like women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Well, they did. These mighty men did destroy those dwelling places of the Kurds and the Shiites. So there are no dwelling places. As a way of we had them wipe out the opposition there. Okay, one post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon, Saddam, that his city is taken at one end. I think that the city is his country. And I think that taken at one end, it's not Babylon, it's not Baghdad being taken at one end, I feel. It'll probably be an enclave. Probably in either southern Iraq or northern Iraq, but I feel it's going to be. It'll probably be southern Iraq first, but then it'll get because it says in Isaiah, "Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media." I think the flash grenade is going to be southern Iraq. That's where things are going to start happening first. They'll carve it on enclave, start building up defenses down there to show that we're going to mean business here. Saddam will try to get Saddam to get his forces to come out so he can bomb them. But something will go wrong, and the Kurds will start coming down. That's what I think is going to happen here. Yeah, that taking it went in. That his country is taking it went. There's going to be an enclave that we're going to make to help form a place as a launching place for the opposition. And that's it's going to freak Saddam out. Here it says here, yeah, yeah. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Iraq that his city is taken one in, and that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire. Yeah, this tells me it's going to be not northern Iraq, it's going to be southern Iraq, because the reeds are located in southern Iraq, the marsh Arabs. So that's going to probably be the starting place here. And the passages are stopped. Because Saddam did stop these passages. He stopped them up. Did in such a way that southern Iraq is all dried up in certain areas. The marshes are dried up. During the Gulf War, they were all green, but then he dammed up those places that the Euphrates River went into to dry up the land so he could get his tanks in there to kill the opposition. And, yeah, that's been fulfilled here. Those passages are stopped. And the reeds they have burned with fire, and they did. They burned those marshes to get those marsh Arabs who were, those Shiite marsh Arabs who were against him. And the men of war are frightened. They're frightened because now we can use that area as a launching place. So that's probably the enclave here that we'll carve out. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. So, the harvest, I feel, are those nukes coming out of Iraq. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me, he hath crushed me, he hath made me an empty vessel, he hath swallowed me up like a dragon, he hath filled me with his delicates, he hath cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, Iraq, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and the blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will please thy cause, and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea, and make her springs dry. And Babylon, Iraq, shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, and astonishment, and a hissing without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions, they shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat they shall make their feasts, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, saith the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with the he-goats. How is Shishak taken? How is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How has Babylon become astonishment among the nations? I think Shishak is in Iraq right now. Oh, it's old. The sea has come upon Babylon, Iraq. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Does that mean I don't understand how what this means here. But then it goes on and says, her cities are a desolation. In other words, it's not just Baghdad. Her cities are desolation, a dry land and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doth any man, son of man, pass thereby. Of course, it's that way. Someone could say, "Oh, that's history," because that happened with Babylon, you know. But I think it's future here too. Yeah, I think this is future here. And I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I'll bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. I feel that happened already. The thing that was swallowed up was Kuwait, and we took it out of his mouth during the Gulf War. Yeah, and I'll take out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up. And the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yeah, because there's that UN embargo that's going on, that the sanctions. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. It means also the wall of Babylon shall fall. In other words, the defenses of Babylon, the defenses of Baghdad, the defenses of Iraq shall fall. That's true. They have no air superiority whatsoever. We can hit them at will. So that has happened here. Because they're always flying over there. Southern watch and northern watch. Okay, my people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall come both 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence of the land, ruler against ruler. In other words, some year you're going to hear another rumor, and then violence of the land, ruler against ruler. A rumor came 1 year, which could be 10 years ago now, and then after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence of the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon. The spoilers shall come unto her from the north. I feel the spoilers are Kurds, saith the Lord. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. Sounds like World War III breaks out when Iraq falls. That's what I get when I read that here. Could be wrong, but that's what it sounds like. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away. Stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. I think that's talking to the Kurds. There are going to be a lot of Kurds who are Israeli, who are going to be part of the 144,000, will be saved miraculously from. The bombs will go off. They'll survive miraculously, and then they'll go to Jerusalem. Let Jerusalem go into their mind, because that's where they're supposed to go, because they're part of the children of Israel here. We are confounded. Yeah, he says, ye that have escaped the sword. In other words, when the nuclear bomb goes off and you're standing there and nothing's happened to you, go away and stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. When all hell breaks loose and everything's wiped out, go to Jerusalem, because a part of it will be, it'll be protected there. Okay, we are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces. For strangers, foreigners, or actually aliens, for strangers are come into the sanctuaries of the Lord's house. I feel the Lord's house are the body of the Christians. And what's going to happen is, at the rapture, bodies are going to remain behind. They're not going to be taken up into heaven. They're going to remain behind. The soul of the Christian, the spirit will be gone. It'll be replaced by these strangers, these aliens, these walk-ins. And it's going to be, we are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces. For strangers, these aliens, these demons, are come into the sanctuaries of the Lord's house. They're now in the Christian bodies. They've been raptured. Bodies remain behind. Christians up in heaven. Okay, wherefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will do judgment upon the graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Though Babylon, in other words, though Baghdad, or Iraq, shall mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, then she did, Iraq did, yet for me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord, and they did. He was building this huge army and stuff, getting weapons of mass destruction, yet the spoilers came in the form of, I feel, UNSCOM, UN inspectors, and they were wiping them out, getting rid of them. But not all of them. Now they're out of there, and now you can acquire them again. But I feel that this scripture has been fulfilled. Though Babylon, Iraq, shall mount up to heaven, it did. And though she should fortify the height of her strength, and she did, yet for me shall spoilers come unto her. And that happened. It was called UNSCOM. It's no longer there, though, so it's probably mounting up to heaven again. A sound of a cry cometh from Iraq, and great destruction from the land of Chaldeans, Kuwaitis, because the Lord hath spoiled Babylon, Iraq, and destroyed out of her the great voice. Allah, luck, pluck. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voices uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon, Baghdad, I guess you'd say, or Iraq. And her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken, for the Lord God of recompense has surely requited. Well, that happened during the Gulf War, but it'll happen again. And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, and her captains and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall utterly be broken. That's their defenses, utterly destroyed. And her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. Yeah, just think, since Saddam has kicked out the UN inspectors out of Iraq, all that work has been for nothing, because now he's hidden everything. They have to start all over again, so it's all been for nothing. All we did was just delay things. Okay, the word which Jeremiah the prophet commanded Seraiah the son of Neriah the son of Mediaiah, and when he went unto Zedekiah the king of Judah into Babylon in the 4th year of his reign, and his this is past tense. This has nothing to do with Iraq now, but there's something interesting here. I'm going to read it anyway because it sounds so weird, but I'm going to read it to you. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, and even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Seraiah, when thou comest to Babylon, probably the ruins of Babylon, and shalt see, and shalt read all these words, thou shalt say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of the reading this book, thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it into the midst of Euphrates, and thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sing, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far the words of Jeremiah. I think that if someone ever did that, I don't know if Seraiah did it or not, but he probably didn't. He probably, oh, this is a nice book or something like that. And I think if he did that, though, all this probably would have come to pass. So maybe if someone does that, then what happens, what is fulfilled here, takes place. I don't know. But that's just my theory. I could be wrong here. Anyway, I'm now going to read to you. I'll read to you Habakkuk, all of Habakkuk, because I feel it's talking about the thing with Iraq. So, yeah, Habakkuk coming up. Just a second here, I'm going to turn all this off and, well actually, I'm going to play some of this back here. I think it's not thus Babylon shall sing. I think it's thus Babylon shall sink. Can be sink, is it? Oh yeah, thus Babylon shall sing, not sink. Thus Babylon shall sing, and shall not rise. Okay. Okay. Now Habakkuk coming up. I think you'll find this interesting, this Habakkuk coming up. Okay. Chapter 1. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. Now, I'll tell you something. I feel the first chapter of Habakkuk is talking about Operation Desert Shield, plus a little bit of Operation Desert Storm. Chapter 2 of Habakkuk, though, I feel is dealing with what has been happening since, which is Saddam hiding the weapons and then the stuff that comes upon him. You know, a little bit of Operation Desert Fox. And chapter 3 of Habakkuk, I feel, is when all hell breaks loose. And World War III and stuff. So, but See what you think. Okay, Habakkuk chapter 1. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why dost thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Behold ye among the heathen, in other words, among the nations, and regard, and wonder marvelously. For I work in your days, which I think is our time, which ye will not believe, though it were told you, though it be told you. So in other words, what I'm reading to you right now is going to be for nothing, because you're not going to believe it, even though I'm reading it to you. Because I'm reading it to you. It's because I'm telling it to you. But I feel in my heart that this is prophecy here being fulfilled. That has been fulfilled. Not all of it, but most of it's being fulfilled. It has been fulfilled. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, I feel our Iraqis, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land, to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. And that's been fulfilled. First they attacked Iraq. First they attacked Iran, tried to take those oil fields of Iran, and then they took Kuwait, which is Chaldea, but it's not Kuwait. And they retook, because they thought it was Chaldea. They thought it was a part of Babylon. It was a part of Iraq. One time it was, and they tried to take it again. So, but in our time it's not theirs. But they went to the land and they possessed the dwelling places that were not theirs, because it belonged to Kuwait. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And the horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far, and shall fly as the eagle that hasteneth to eat. Well, what took over Kuwait were the helicopter gunships. They flew in there. Flew like eagles, swooped in there like eagles. They shall come all for violence. Therefore their faces shall sup up the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand, and they did. What happens is when Iraq went into Kuwait, they went in eastward toward it. So they hit the north, when the wind, they were coming, they went down and they went east. So it's like the east wind came into their face, and they shall they shall gather captivity as the sand. They did. The people that were there, they turned them into guests. And we were captive to them because like, hey, what's going on here? So everyone was watching it. So it was like they had a captivity. The captivity is the sand. Yeah. And they shall gather the captivity